Hey, what's up? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. And in today's video, I'm answering your questions. I get this one asked a lot here on YouTube. Is debt settlement bad? And some people even ask, what is debt settlement? Because they hear the word debt relief, and they hear debt revision, they hear bankruptcy, they hear Chapter 13. So they're wondering, like, if is debt settlement good or bad? And what are my options when it comes to debt settlement? Well, one of the things that I want to clarify, one of the things I want to clarify is the differences between all three. Debt relief, Chapter 13 bankruptcy, considered debt relief. That's where they're going to pay a portion of your debt. They're going to, in a way, reorganize your personal unsecured uh, debts, and they're going to allow you to have a more affordable payment plan, which, if you look at the stats, most people are not able to stick to. Most, I'm not saying all, most people are not able to stick to it, and they end up going into a Chapter 7. But by the way that the law is written, by the way that it's supposed to work for you, it does give you relief. It stops all debt collectors and creditors from being able to attack you. You can reclaim certain assets like your car, your house, where you won't lose those, and then you can reorganize and even potentially wipe away a lot of the interest and fees from unsecured credit that you're going to continue paying on. Now, let's move over to debt settlement. And this is where it gets very tricky. The benefit of going through debt settlement is where you don't have to file bankruptcy. You can keep paying on your house, your car, maybe even you have some credit cards that you want to continue paying on that you don't want to, that you didn't mess up on, but you had this other group of debts, maybe some medical bills, maybe some other credit cards, maybe some personal loans, some other obligations that you had that you did mess up on. You can't pay the monthly payments on all of this stuff. That's why you're behind, either loss of income or medical issues or something happened with the family, and you're just not able to make it. So a lot of people look into doing what's called debt settlement, and they'll sign up with these companies where what they're going to do is tell you to stop paying all of your unsecured debt, and at some point, as you build up the payments, they're going to attempt to settle your debts for less than what you owe, and they have to make their profit in between. Uh, yes, some people were asking, can they do this themselves? And yes, you can do it yourself. But the problem usually comes with this when it comes to debt settlement is that most people, they don't have the discipline to save money, to be able to save up the money, and then they don't have the confidence to negotiate debts. And this is something that we do with the credit repair shop, is where we actually start that process for people where we don't even charge an additional fee for doing this. But when we do our debt validation process to collectors and creditors, uh, to see if you still have a legal obligation to pay. A lot of the times, what they'll do is they'll send back a response letter showing that you do have a legal obligation to pay, but they're open to doing a settlement on that debt. And what we do is we tell our clients, if it's something that you know that you owe, and to allow you to be able to move forward and get this over with, uh, maybe we can counter with a lower offer, or if it's something that you feel that you would like to pay, that is a good, that is a good option, because uh, the number one thing is that you want to resolve the negative issues on your credit, and if you resolve it with a settlement, you can usually negotiate to have it removed off your credit reports. But even if it's not removed off your credit reports and it's reported as positive or paid for less, that is not going to hurt your credit like having a collection or unpaid debt on your credit reports. It will not hurt you the same way. So Debt settlement is a good option, but let me tell you the way that you should do it if you're looking to avoid bankruptcy and you want to have an option on getting with debts that you know that are yours, that maybe they were sold to a debt collector, or the original creditor still has them. These are debts that you know that are yours. The first thing that you should do is you should do a debt validation. It doesn't matter if it's an original creditor or a debt collector. The reason why you want to do that is you want to see what their plans are with the debt. We have this happen a lot of times where people sign up with our company and they have debts that have just been sitting there, and we would ask them, have you been contacted? Have they sent a letter? Have they called? Anything? And a lot of times people say that they haven't, and we don't always believe that because maybe they threw away the letter. You know, if you're getting a bill in the mail and you know you're not going to pay it, you maybe don't even open it. A lot of people do that. But we do have a lot of people where the debts have just been sitting there, and the original creditor or the debt collector just haven't done anything about it. They've just been letting it sit there, haven't sent out any letters or nothing. So what we do is we would send a debt validation to them, and this is to, number one, see if the debt is still legally obligated to pay. Now you might be saying, well, I should know that by the statute of limitations, right? Well, there's certain situations where, especially with original creditors, where they have made where original creditors have made a determination that they're not going to go after the individual for the debt. And what they've done is they've actually filed a 1099-C, and it just hasn't made it to the consumer yet. They didn't even know the debt has been forgiven. In a way, it's been forgiven. That what they're going to do is send a 1099-C to the IRS to have that reported as additional income on that individual's taxes. But they don't even know about that. And then when we send those debt validations, they notify them that they have sent that in. Or they might say, what is your financial situation? Are you able to pay this debt? And we write back a letter, after consulting with the customer, and we write back a letter and we say that they are not able to pay the debt, or they call them and the customer notifies them that they're not going to be able to pay the debt, and that can get them to file a 1099-C debt cancellation on the debt. Their other option is that they've sold the debt and then they notify you in the mail from that debt validation that they do not own the debt anymore, and that such and such company now owns the debt. Another debt collector, maybe that debt collector hasn't even sent you a demand letter yet on that debt. So once you know that, then you know that what your goal to do now is to get that information from that original creditor removed off your credit report, because they really don't have any interest in keeping it on your report. And it could take some work to get it done, but it can get done. And then you should keep your eyes open for when the mail comes for that demand letter from the new debt collector who owns the debt. Because when you get that letter, you will be able to respond to them, and you can usually stop them from proceeding with going after you if you respond to that demand letter the right way. If you disregard it, you're going to allow them to put that mark on your credit, and it's going to keep moving forward. But you can still fight it after that, but it just makes it a lot harder. But now, let's say that that the debt collector already has that debt because uh, it's on your credit reports. It's past that 30-day period, and they place that on your credit reports. Well, you would still do a debt validation to them to make sure that they got all of the appropriate paperwork and everything to prove that you have to pay them for that debt, the balances, everything, that an attorney has reviewed it. And usually, when you do a debt validation that way, they're going to make a determination if they want to proceed with going after you for that debt. Because remember, debt collectors, it's a tricky business for them, because if with the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, if they violate anything on that with the amounts, where it looks like it's intentional over due fees, past statute of limitations. If they contacted you in the wrong way, they contacted references that were listed on your reports, that were listed on your application, and notified them of your personal information. There's all types of things that they have to skirt. So they want to make sure that everything that they do is at least uh, as much above board so they don't get in trouble if you happen to dispute the debt the right way. Now, when I say dispute the debt, you're disputing the debt directly with them with a debt validation. And if they come back and they say that, this debt is legally able to be collected, they show you the bill of sale paper trail from the original creditor, everything checks out, then we get right back into doing a debt settlement. And that's when you would just notify them that, you don't have the full amount of money. They might want you to state the reasons why you were not able to pay the debt, and then you would just come to a resolution on paying for it. Remember, they paid pennies on the dollar for these. They don't buy them one by one. They buy them in bulk. And their number one mission when they start to go out to collect the debt is to try to collect as much money as possible to make their money back. And then everything that they make on top of that is profit to their company. So, if you are in need of getting a debt validation or you want to cease the collection act, try to see if you can stop a debt collector from collecting a debt from you. I have two letters that are available. Links are below this video. My cease and desist collection activities letter, and then I have a cease and desist collection activities for debt that's past the legal statute of limitations. And then I have a debt validation letter that you can get. And the link is below here. Yes, I do ask for a donation. That's one way that I support the time that I make for the videos, but it's not necessary. But I really appreciate it if you do make a donation for me giving you that letter. It is well worth it. You can use that letter over and over and over again. It is very valuable. So if you need help with your credit, please visit thecreditrepairshop.com. If you need your credit reports and scores, because you're going to need the addresses and all of the data on how they have placed the collection and how the original creditor is placed on your credit reports, you're going to need that information. The free uh, credit report places don't give you the information that you need. So please use the link that I have here below this video, and I have it shown right here, the number 3scores.com. I really appreciate it. You're going to get all three scores. You're going to get all three credit reports, and you're going to have the complete addresses of the furnishers who place that information on your credit reports. So thank you for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. If you have any other questions that I didn't make clear about this debt settlement video, please ask them. Thank you, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that yet.